It was just so great to see just all these artists in one spot with just different crafts too. You know, some people were really, you can tell it was like an anime focused style, and then other people had different styles. You had people, you know, represented from like that used to work on Nickelodeon shows that we all know and love. And so it was really professional, successful people that you were able to get these, you know, kids to connect with, which is so cool.
Well, that was over the years of my connection and going to these conferences in California. I would build those relationships. Say, hey, one day I'm going to do this. Will you come? They're like, yeah, just build it, you know? Kind of like that movie, Field of Dreams.
Yeah, build it and they will come.
Yeah, so I kind of just did that, you know, and, you know, just kind of battled through all my fears. Because, you know, I never done it before. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I'm just going to do it. And if they come, they come. And they came. Yeah. They came,
And even though it was called the Phoenix Animation Expo, I kind of appreciated it being in Mesa.
Yeah.
Let's talk Tales. Without today's Tales with Taylor guest, I wouldn't have my amazing looking Financial Potion logo. It's 2D and 3D animator at DWG, founder of RJ Animation, Phoenix AZ Animation Meetup, and the Phoenix Animation Expo. It's Ricardo Jimenez.
Hey, how's it going?
Good How are you doing? Good, I just realized I never say your last name. Did I say it well?
No, Jimenez. Okay. Yeah. A lot of people say Jimenez sometimes.
Well, they need to know how to actually pronounce, you know, Spanish name. So it's Jimenez. Oh, perfect. I'm happy I nailed that because, my goodness, we've known each other for so long.
I know. Actually, when I first met you, you pronounced it correctly too.
Bam. I try. I really do try.
Yeah.
And so how about you tell the tale of how did we first meet?
It was a few years ago. We met at a different company, and you were doing video editing, right?
I was actually the project manager.
Project manager, yeah.
Yeah. So and, Eric was doing editing.
Eric was doing editing. You're project manager, and I think we all came in a group. And you were just kind of like looking for some more editors or artists. I forgot what the position was for.
You were an editor. You came in as an editor, and I just remember being like utterly amazed by your artistic artistic abilities. We had, you know, editors that are really good at like video editing, but you were an artist and are an artist, being able to like create literally something out of nothing. You know, I just remember just, you know, you even doing like a 3D design for a mock for a restaurant and just being like, whoa, look at this. And, you know, I think it was just way ahead of, you know, our time in the sense of like creating such great looking pieces of art.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I remember at that time, I was really looking for a studio job, but it was kind of slow at the moment, I think. But when I found that position, I was like, yeah, I'll give it a shot. And
this was like 2010, 20.
Yeah, like 2010, 2011.
Yeah,
because I was working at a game studio. And then there was big layoffs. So after that, I was just kind of doing freelance for a little bit, and you know that led to RJ Animation later on. But and I really enjoyed working there with you. And I told you, I remember the last days I left there, I was like, you need to start your own thing. You know what I mean? Because you did amazing. You basically ran everything. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it was a good stepping stone to learn just how to start a business, things not to do within a business. Yeah. And it was a great, you know, experience. And, you know, so RJ Animation, you know, tell me a little bit about what you do there.
Well, we do a couple of things. I started off as a freelance artist back in 2011, I believe. And it kind of, you know, it all became from when I graduated in 2008 from college. There was a recession, so I got to really like kind of push myself out there. You know, just like, hey, I need to find some work. You know, and that kind of just led for me to just kind of building up my people skills and how to put together a lot of the business side of animation, because I was mostly trained in just production. You know, so I got it out of my comfort zone and that kind of led to meeting up with clients and setting up appointments, things like that. And it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. And years moving forward, I decided to make it into an LLC. And that kind of gave me a little bit more like credibility, you know, with bigger companies. And now, you know, I'm so blessed to have a few companies now that are, you know, returning clients. So
Nice.
Yeah.
Tell me a tale of one of your favorite productions you were a part of, or, you know, creations of art you were able to make.
Yeah. So I think working with like Frito-Lay, they've been great. I've been doing a lot of like a little bit of 3D stuff here and there, and you know, some logo creations. So they've been really good to me. One of the things I never thought I was gonna get into was forensic animation.
Oh, very
Yeah, yeah. I was like, I always thought I was gonna be doing like animation, like cartoons. But there, you know, one of my old bosses I used to work with in a different studio called Pixel 8. We did a lot of stuff for, I think Discovery Channel. It was Discovery Channel. Excuse me, and yeah, it was Discovery Channel, and we worked on a couple. They worked on a couple of TV shows like Future Weapons, Martin Marvels.
Oh, okay, cool. I love Marvels.
Treasure Quest, and then the last one I worked on with them was Unraveling the Cosmos, and it came out on Netflix.
Nice.
It was one of the first 4K shows.
Okay.
So that was a lot of fun. But he closed the studio because he wanted to be closer to his family, and I was like, okay. This was back 2013 or 2012, no 13, and he recommended me years later to his client, and his client was like a, I guess, lawyer. Or he helps lawyers out with the cases, and he reached out to me and said, "Hey, yeah, one of your old bosses recommended you," and I was like, "Oh, okay. What do you want to do?" It's like, "Oh, well, we have a car crash that we need to reenact, or something like that, or a police shooting, or something like that." And I was like, "Oh, okay." I'd never done it before,
right?
But it was really interesting how, you know, I went from, you know, creating some animation like narrative versus like real, you know, reenactments of like scenes, you know. So that to me was very, very cool.
That is very cool. Yeah.
So I still work with him, and we still do like you know, accident scenes, or even sometimes he does non-legal, which is like maybe a new construction happening or something like that, or a new building. But that client has been very interesting to work with.
Okay, that's very interesting. And I think it's through your, you know, animation expo and animation meetups, I know you've asked me to come on and kind of talk to students about how can you use your craft to get work. And I think that's a prime example there, where I think a lot of artists want to do, you know, the fun animations, the characters, the storytelling. And that is great. And you should always strive for your goals. But in the meantime, you might need to pick up some good work and money. And in the business world or in the government sectors, like that's where there's budgets, and everyone needs video, and something like reenacting a, you know, police shooting. It's actually a lot more affordable for that client to get it done through animation than to hire the actors, get the permits for the locations, get, you know, the blanks, get the everything you would need to actually reenact it. And
exactly. You know, I tell a lot of my students that there's so many different areas you could go into with that craft.
In your last animation expo, like you had a lot of great vendors there, and one vendor was specific to like medical videos, correct?
Yes. Yeah, they do a lot of like surgeries, or, you know, maybe things that could go wrong, or the proper way to do certain things. And I mean, they go into detail with like the whole anatomy and the body, and they need animators, you know, they need artists to develop all of that stuff, and that's why I kind of preach to my students that, you know, you could either go in the medical field, or you could go into you know, marketing, motion graphics. I mean, there's so many things.
So
you can
many.
do. So many. Instead of just going straight to doing film for, narrative animation.
Right, because I think that's the ultimate dream for a lot of us. I know when
It
I
is,
first
yeah.
got into video production, I thought I was going to come to Arizona, get my degree, go to California, start working in the Hollywood sector.
Yeah.
But it just, eventually...
Well, that's the dream, right?
That's the dream.
That's
And it
the
can
dream.
still be a possibility.
Yeah.
And now, even so with the streaming, streaming wasn't what it was,
Yeah.
15 years ago. And
Yeah.
so now there's just so much more opportunity, I feel. Arizona is now, building out a sound stage
Yeah.
and things of that sort. But you mentioned students. So where are you a professor?
Okay, so I've been teaching since 2013. So I have 11 years teaching now. So I originally started at Grand Canyon University, Lopes. And it's been wonderful there. It's I never thought I was going to go into teaching too. That's another thing. I tell my students, your goal is here, but your career just it's zigzag. It's a zig. You never know where you're going to end up, and you might pick up new potentials or something you like that you never thought you would.
Yeah. So GCU, you get to teach at GCU.
Yeah.
So what course do you teach at GCU?
So I've been teaching like a 3D animation course there, and I treat it like a character animation course. I feel like if you could do character animation, you could probably animate anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the students loved it. They're like, oh, we were waiting for this, to animate a character.
Yeah.
So, but we start off really simple with the basics, like a bouncing ball, in 3D. And then we move into a ball with a tail, and then like a walk cycle. And at the very end, we'll do a full body mechanics.
So do they then come up with their own characters? Do you give them any kind of guidelines of what the character should be?
So the animation class is just pure animation. So we give them rigs that are ready to use, and all you gotta do is animate them. So we go through the process of doing referencing. Typically they try to animate this off their head. I'm like, don't do that. You know what I mean? So they have them record something and use as a reference, because it's animation. That's what it is. We're imitating life, right? So I have them record or find something online so they could kind of review and then just kind of study that, and then they do their planning sheets and kind of like a blueprint, frame by frame. And then once they figure that out, they'll start animating.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of foolproof. And then it gets them excited and gets them kind of understanding how to move things properly.
Nice.
With, the ins and outs of animation principles. The other classes I teach is short film production. And that's more of like a motion graphics class.
Okay.
That we do like an infographic, a narrative, an ad, and sometimes, and then from there we kind of put together a demo reel.
Okay.
In a production book as well. I've done digital painting as well. I love digital painting.
Okay,
It's so fun.
What's that exactly?
It's just drawing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's drawing
Spree
digitally.
drawing. Okay.
Yeah. But we kind of go with the process of just like how to do a line art, just sketching out first and then cleaning up your line and then going into like the color and the shading and the lighting and all that. And some students excel really good. Some have no clue how to draw, but it's fun, kind of seeing them progress.
Yeah.
And so by the end of the semester, they have a pretty decent portfolio.
Do you think that's do you think that's a need that someone needs to be actually a good drawing artist to be a good animator?
I think it's definitely something good to have. You know what I mean? Necessary a need, but if you have it, it's a one up, I think.
Got it.
Yeah.
So someone could, if they just love the craft of animation,
Yeah.
but maybe aren't what one would say is, an artist, with 2D art, they could potentially still learn the skill set.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I look at it this way, if you know a little bit of each of the production, you'll become better at what you do.
Okay.
So because you understand what they need,
Yeah,
right?
that's
You know
so
what I mean?
true.
Yeah, so knowing a little bit of everything, it's being a well-rounded artist. That's what I've been trying to be, and then try to like teach that as well. Yeah.
So you started the Phoenix Animation Meetup and the Phoenix Animation Expo. What is your goal with that?
Well, the animation students there, we started an animation club, and I felt like they weren't having any like resources. You know, once they graduated, they were on their own. You know what I mean? And I just kind of let you know, I've always been a like adjunct. I was never full-time.
Okay.
But I've been treated sometimes as a full-time instructor. But no, which is great. But they would look to me as like, you know, we got to get these guys jobs.
Yeah.
You know, that. So over the years, I was like, yeah, we actually do. So, you know, I would take them to conferences in California, with animation conferences, things like that. And I would see how they would engage and connect with other artists. So that kind of just brought a light into me. It was like, hey, I should do that here. So I started with them animation meetups, doing that, you know. So like, okay, I'm gonna invite professionals, bring animators, artists, everybody from the pipeline into one house to kind of get to know each other and just kind of build a community. So we did that for about a year or so, and then we had a really good result, and then we started say, hey, you know what? Let's do a bigger event, and that led to the expo.
Yeah, so cool. You know, I was lucky enough to attend an expo.
Yeah,
of
no, you did great.
And
yeah, they loved you.
It was just so great to see just all these artists in one spot with just different crafts too. You know, some people were really, you can tell it was like an anime focused style, and then other people had different styles. And you had people, you know, represented from like that used to work on Nickelodeon shows that we all know and love. And so it was really professional, successful people that you were able to get these, you know, kids to connect with, which is so cool.
Yeah. Well, that was over the years of my connection and going to these conferences in California. I would build those relationships. Say, hey, one day I'm going to do this. Will you come? They're like, yeah, just build it. You know, kind of like that movie, Field of Dreams.
Yeah, build it and they will come.
Yeah. So I kind of just did that, you know, and you know, just kind of battled through all my fears because you know I never done it before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm just going to do it, and if they come, they come, and they came.
Yeah.
They came,
And even though it was called the Phoenix Animation Expo, I kind of appreciated it being in Mesa.
Yeah. You know, that's a good story. I'm glad you brought that up. And I want to give a shout out to Micah.
Yes,
you know,
I love Micah, Mesa Youth Creative Agency.
Yeah. Chrissy, she runs that place there. And Paul, they were all great. They supported us all. And originally was going to go there to do an animation meetup. And I think you did one there.
Yes.
Yeah. And I told them about the expo, and they were like, why don't you just do it here?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, let's do it here. And because I was looking for places, and we looked, and I was trying to look downtown in Phoenix, but everything was so expensive. You know,
and I don't feel like it would have accommodated the same way. The beautiful thing about Micah is that you had the auditorium for your keynotes and for, you know, the launch, and then you had the hallway space for the vendors, and then you had the different rooms for the breakouts, and so.
And it was so, it's an older building, so it had a lot of like, you know, historical feel to it. It was charming. I really liked him.
I really liked it too. I think you did a fabulous job.
Thank you.
And I think everyone really gained value from it.
I really hope so. And we got a lot of feedback, and they're like, we're gonna do this next year. I was like, yeah, we're gonna do this next year. Of course we are. We're gonna do this every year.
Make sure you're staying tuned to RJ Animation and the Phoenix Animation Expo. That's excellent. So what's one tale that you wish you would have told yourself, your younger self, when you were starting this entrepreneurial journey, or even just your creative career as an animator?
That's a great question. I would just tell him like, keep moving forward and never settle, you know, because there was a moment where I'm just like, when I started teaching, one of the first years I started teaching, I was a little lost a little bit because I'm like, where am I going? You know what I mean? And so I was like, well, this might be it. You know, I worked in different studios. I worked with you and some other studios, a game studio, production studio, doing stuff for the Discovery Channel. And I was like, this is it? Am I gonna just be teaching? So I went for like a year or so of like depression. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I was
just
just
feeling
like,
unfulfilled.
yeah, unfulfilled. I was like, what am I doing? And then I was still doing freelance work, but I wasn't like there yet, you know? So I had to kind of reinvent myself. I had to like kill the old me somehow, like the Phoenix.
Yeah, and then rise from the ashes.
And had to rise again from the ashes and just kind of like rethink my strategy. So I started saying, okay, what do you want to do? So I was like, well, I want to bring people together. You know what I mean? I as an instructor, as a teacher, it's like I want to see students get jobs. You know what I mean? I want to give people work like that. So I started hiring my alumni at RG Animation, helping me with projects, and then interning. A lot of them are still there. And right now I have another. You know, I have two sides of RG Animation.
Okay.
I have my client work, production side, and then I have an education side.
Okay.
So, which is RG Animation, which is the production, and then RG Animation Workshops is the school.
Yeah, and every summer, right? You have a summer course that you offer through it. Correct?
Yeah, well, yeah, we have that, but now we started doing it in the winter.
Okay.
I'm doing it right now. Yeah, I have a contract right now with the Paradise Valley School District.
Very nice.
And we're teaching elementary schools animation, digital painting, things like that. And I bring in students from GCU to help me out. Yeah, and that could expand on its own. You know what I mean? So I'm super excited for that, and that's another avenue I didn't think I was going to go into. You know, but I did it in intention to give opportunities to the students.
That's excellent.
Yeah. And
I wonder if you being a dad makes you a little more like connected to thinking about the youth and thinking about how to help them. And oh my goodness, like Ricardo would make the most amazing invitations for these kids' birthday parties. It would be like, you know, your son's 8th birthday, and it would be like this Transformers video that you have for this invitation. Or you'd always just go like above and beyond with
Do you remember those?
Of course I remember those. Those are so cool. Like when I think about, so we try to make some nice Christmas cards for our family. When I think about our Christmas cards, I think about you. I think about like what would Ricardo do and how can I make it really cool?
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I'm glad I used to do those all the time, and I got into it. You know, I really
you could
did.
tell.
Yeah, I got into it. I was just like, and the same because I was really motivated just to kind of become a better artist. So like, you know, so anytime I had a chance to do something creative, I would do it. So every time my kids had their birthday parties, like I'm gonna do something crazy, you know?
Yeah, I was always nervous. I was like, wow, you're doing these like really outrageous invitations when they're like, you know, 10, 12. What's gonna happen when they get married? Like, what is this video invitation gonna look like?
People told me the same thing too. It's like, what are you gonna do? But you know, I really enjoyed those times actually when they were little, and now they're old, and now I have to ask for an appointment to meet up with them.
So what would be advice to business owners, entrepreneurs, you know, creatives who are also parents? Like, how did you find that, you know, good balance? Because, you know, you're really involved, and, you know, you can feel the love when you see you and your kids too, which is great.
Thanks. That's a key word, is balance. Is having that balance that with time with your family and work. And once you could find that good like synergy between the two, it starts to work. A lot of people were like, how do you do it? I was like, you're teaching.
Right.
And then you have your workshops and your client work from, you know, both sides. And then, you know, I also work full time for another studio.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. DWG.
Yeah.
So shout out to DWG. And I just started working with them about 1.5 years now. And I got it because it was remote. You know, with all my schedule, I was like, oh, I could do this. I could do this. And they were looking for animators, and I didn't know that a lot of the artists that were there, they were from my old school, from the Art Institute. Yeah, that's where I went. Did you go to the Art Institute?
No, I was a rest in peace Collins College.
Oh, it's okay, Collins. I remember Collins. But yeah, they're from the Art Institute, and they're like, Ricardo Jimenez. They're like, I think I know that name. And so they finally met me. Did you go to our institute? I was like, oh yeah, okay. Yeah, we went to school together. So my art director Hillary, she went to the art institute, and we caught up, and then we have Amanda, and we all went to school together. And Amanda Thatcher, she's the other animator, amazing. And so we're two animators out of the entire company.
Oh wow!
Yeah. And I think DesignWorks Gaming is probably one of the biggest gaming companies in Arizona.
Very cool.
Yeah, because they do a lot of the casino games on your phone.
Okay, on the phone, yeah.
Yeah, so
I was recently hired to be actually an on-camera talent doing one of those games.
oh, nice. Yeah, they have clients like Betfred and DraftKings and MGM Bet, all of those.
Oh yeah, the whole gambling world now with everything.
Yeah. So
but yeah, it's amazing how you mentioned like, oh, we all went to school together. I feel like very early on, in high school, thinking about getting into film and video, I was always told it's who you know, not always what you know, it's who you know. And so I think the importance of getting out there too, and whether it is going to a college and meeting people, going to networking events. It's really important to know people because, I know I've still reached out to you to help out with animation work. We have great editors on our team, but animation, it's just that little different. It's different than just your general video editing that, we do need to reach out to you
I remember an instructor said, we had a meeting at GCU. There was an instructor that said, he goes, I could teach someone to be a graphic designer, or a web designer. But as to be an animator, he goes, you have to, it's different.
Yeah.
It's different. You have some, I forgot what the term he said, but it was something like, you need to have some kind of understanding of that. And it's true, I think animation is just a different wiring a little bit. But I think anybody could do it if they kind of, put their mind to it, right? Like anything else. But typically students, when they go in, either love it or hate it.
Who do you find are the most successful students? Like what is their mindset or attributes, or whether it is that they're very good artists or that they are self-learners? What are some of those attributes that you find to be, the most successful students in your courses?
I think the ones that are like naturally involved. You know what I mean? It's just like, I was animating this last night. I just thought maybe this movement. They just go above and beyond. They don't even know that they're doing extra work, but they're just like so into it that I could see them already being successful. Yeah. And there's some students that just kind of do the minimum, or just do the assignment, just get the grade done, get it, turn it in. But they don't understand once they leave the school, it gets tougher. You know what I mean? You have to be that above and beyond.
Yeah, I think in animation and video, it's like you are going to get out what you put in.
Yeah, you got to get noticed somehow. Yeah. Because how competitive it is.
But I would say don't be afraid to like make mistakes. I think that's one thing that I should have done more in college was make mistakes. I was very quickly to say, sure, I'll produce this. Because no one wanted to be the producer for some reason. It's like people didn't like schedules and keeping things on track. I don't know. I love it. So, I was always fine with being the producer, doing things that I was already good at versus being like, no, I'm going to be the gaffer of this project. Like, I wish I would have actually done things that I wasn't as comfortable with. And so that's why I would encourage students for sure is, make mistakes while you can.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest fears. They all want to be perfections. And I said, the more mistakes you do, the better you'll get, you know what I mean? And just, learn from it. I said, every mistake you do, it's a learning experience.
Yeah, right. Especially in school. It's not a mistake. It's just a learning opportunity.
Yeah, it's a learning opportunity, and I heard that somewhere. I don't know where I heard that from, but it's true. You know what I mean? So, and being an instructor, that led me to so many other avenues that I didn't know. It brought me more back to my basics, the core fundamentals. I remember when I barely started teaching, I was like, why am I not doing what I'm telling them? You know what I mean? So
I think as a business owner too, we regularly do it too. I'll give someone suggestions. I caught myself like, I'm telling them to do it, but I don't do it. So I started doing it, and it's like, okay. And I learned from my students too.
a lot. You know, I learned a lot of communication skills from them.
Well, especially I bet working with younger generations, you get to learn the cool new lingos.
Yeah, cool new lingos.
I'm so terrified of my kids getting older. Like I'm already not cool.
Yeah. So they keep me hip for sure.
Right.
I learned a lot on how to, you know, when there's issues like maybe someone's gets upset, you know, or maybe emotional, stuff like that. I learned a lot how to counteract that or build some tools on how to help them out in a sort of way. And I use that with my business too. You know what I mean? So, you know, if I had a student yell at me or something like that, I'm just like, okay, are you done? You know, you calm down. They're like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm done. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? I try not to react. You know, negatively. So.
Well, also that parenting practice, I think, also helps.
Yeah.
You can just look at them like the little toddler that they kind of are still inside and go, it's okay.
It's okay.
Life is stressful. We know.
Yeah. and as an instructor, the way I like to teach is just kind of, you know, be honest with them, you know, just kind of like get their trust. Because if I go in there really hard and just like straight, you know, they turn off.
Yeah.
They don't want to like, they get scared or something like that. So I try to gain their trust and say, hey, this is what we got to do. And I really want you to be successful when you get out of here. And, excuse me, you know, as a student, everybody gets there late, right?
What?
You know, people get there late sometimes, you know?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
No.
Some of them do.
That door is closed, and if that door is locked, you are absent from your class.
Right. Well, you know, not all students are perfect like that, you know. They sometimes they're late with their work or this and that. Life happens, you know, things like that. And I totally get it. But I said, you know, once you get out of here, when you get the interview, no one's going to ask you that. Like, so how many times were you late? You know what I mean? Or you know, how many?
But it's a habit. And I'll say I just did an interview, or I was supposed to have an interview with someone.
Yeah.
They didn't show. They reach out to me an hour later. I totally forgot.
No.
And it's like, look, you might have forgot, things might have happened, but you also could have told me as it was happening that something was happening.
No.
And so there are habits that I think need to get worked on.
I think you know, you're totally right. And I definitely talked to him about that. But you know, I said, no matter what happens when you get out of here, they're gonna look at your work. They're gonna look at your work, and your work's gonna speak everything about you.
Yes.
If you have good work, there's room for you at the company. But then there's
actions. Work and actions.
And then that's the other part. I said, once you have good work, you got to make sure you develop those. You know, you got to make sure you're on time. You know, you know, you have good time management and good people skills, and because you could be the best artist, but if you don't have that, if you can't work with somebody,
we're not going to hire you.
That's it.
Yeah,
you're out of there. In and out burger.
Yep. That's for team players. You know, I think that's why sometimes, you know, whether it's team sport or a band or a something, like learning to work as a team is really important, because you need to learn to rely on the other person to do their job. Yeah. You know, if they aren't doing their job, you can't do your job, and so on and so forth. Yeah. And so, yeah, team building can be so big.
And a lot of times, like, well, I don't have a lot of experience. But like, no, but you have a lot of these people skills. You know what I mean? Like, they would, if they see you and they're like, oh, you know what? We love working with this person. We'll invest in them. Yeah. You know, they're going to teach you their ways anyways. Yeah. Soft skills are hard to come by. I hire people over enthusiasm way more than skill set. Yeah. If they have the enthusiasm and the want to learn, and, you know, those are things that you cannot coach and teach. Yeah. And makes it 10 times harder, right? Yes. It's like, what? Yes, definitely. What did you say to me? So what are some of your favorite tales you've maybe watched or read? So some of your favorite books and movies. Okay. You know, a lot of the books I read are mostly like technical stuff. You know, like for animation. Okay, like, you know, XY. It's like stuff my dad would read. Like, you know, like CAD for dummies or something. You know, I'm just like, you know, I just like to flip through some of the animation books, and it's like, and I catch something, I was like, oh
Are you someone who used to read like all the manual stuff that came with like video games and things?
Yeah. I used to build a lot of Legos.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I would go through all the manuals. And even now, like me and my son, we build these robots. They're called Gundam.
Oh, okay.
And they're like Japanese robot toys.
Okay.
And they're kind of technical.
Okay.
So, I think I have like a technical and artist mind. Mm-hmm. And my son is more technical. My daughter is more the artist.
Lovely.
Like
join forces. Yeah. And there you go.
Yeah. So
excellent. What about your favorite movies?
I really like. I'm very nostalgic, so I like older movies. Mm-hmm. But I really like cyberpunk movies, like Blade Runner.
Okay.
Things like that. The Terminator.
Okay. Classic.
Yeah. So anytime a movie comes out like that, I like watching. I like futuristic stuff. I don't know why. I want to live in the future.
You want to live in the future?
Yeah. Okay. With like my hoverboard. I'm waiting for the hoverboard.
Are you gonna go to space when it becomes?
I don't know. I don't know.
You're like, I love to say, going to space though.
But I just got back from Tokyo, from Japan, and I might consider going over there more.
Really?
Yeah, I love it there.
Yeah, Eric and I were randomly just talking about Japan.
Yeah,
the other day.
Such a beautiful country.
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody from Japan. So yeah, I was in. I went for a friend's wedding. Mm-hmm. I was there this October, and I never experienced a traditional Japanese wedding.
Neither have I.
And it was and since I was a best man, I was the best man. There was a lot of traditions that I didn't know, and
was the husband to be Japanese?
No, we grew up together in Arizona. He's a Mexican dude.
So Mexican dude. Did he know all the Japanese traditions?
He's been there for 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's definitely been involved in the culture.
Yeah. Me and him grew up watching like Dragon Ball.
Okay.
Anime when we were kids.
Right, so that was his perception.
So me and him that was our dream. We're like, we're gonna go to Japan, And so
see all the dragons.
See all the see
their facial expressions when they're surprised.
Yeah. So. And so he started going like once a year during high school.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, and then he would go more and more and more, and then he ended up just moving.
What attracted him to Japan? Was it just the Dragon Ball Z and the culture of all that?
Well, he loves anime, but I think it's just the culture.
Yeah.
You really like the culture there. It's a whole different world out there.
Okay.
The society over there, they're very kind, they're very respectful, they take pride on everything that they do.
Nice.
And they kind of figured it out. I feel like they have a society where they figured things out, how to live together in a big city.
Okay. And all get along.
What? It's like I never felt safe. Like there's people I would walk like in the middle of the night, and people walking like kids are walking by themselves.
So wait, you said you did feel safe?
Yeah, okay. I did. It was a weird feeling that I felt so safe.
Okay.
There, yeah, it's very like safe.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I went there, and I actually had a meeting there as well, because I met this young lady a few days right after my expo, and they're like, "Hey, they want to meet you because she works at an animation studio in Tokyo, but she's gonna be leaving here in a few days. Maybe you guys should meet." It's like, "Oh yeah, I would love to meet her." So we had some coffee. And sure enough, she worked at a company called Mars.
Okay.
Out in Tokyo, and they do a lot of. I think it's part of Sega.
I would say Japan's definitely been like a gaming hub.
Yes, it's part of Sega,
movies.
And I think they were working on like the Sonic movie.
Okay.
Yeah. Or the new.
That makes sense.
The new one.
Yeah.
But they also do a lot of character animation, and wonderful person. And it's like, hey, I'm going to Japan, so maybe we can meet up there, and maybe if I could have a tour at your studio, that'd be amazing. So yeah, I'll ask my director.
Nice.
I get there, they wouldn't let me. because they had a lot of like
proprietary
things.
things.
Yeah, there's a lot going on, but but we'll meet you out. So they took me out to dinner out there, which was awesome.
How's the fish and the food there? I'm assuming fresh beyond fresh.
I miss it. It's so good. It doesn't matter if you go to McDonald's there or to a fancy restaurant. It's all good.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's delicious. But we ate some steak or something like that. I think I think it's called Wagyu meat.
Wagyu, yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. And I met with them, and they asked me about the expo. And they're like, so how did it go? This and that, and then they were interested in maybe coming next year.
Nice.
Yeah. So that was one of the highlights as well too when I was there. So I was like, maybe I'll venture out to Japan.
Well, especially if you're enjoying like the gaming market, like I said, Japan has been, one of the front runners of gaming for so many years. So that would be very cool.
So Tokyo, I'm coming.
All right. So what Japanese words do you know how to say? You have to freshen up on that if you're going to live there.
I always just say, konnichiwa, denki desu ka,
What was that second one?
Just like, hello, how are you?
Oh, okay, that's how are you. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, sumimasen, excuse me.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Do you know how to find water, a bathroom, and something to eat? Those are the three keys.
I just say restroom.
Restroom, okay.
But I'm learning.
See, when I was learning Spanish, my first things were, ¿Dónde es baño? Necesito agua. Necesito cerveza. Because I learned those basic things. You got to be able to survive.
Yeah. So, you pick up words there.
Yeah.
A lot. And it comes, you hear it. You hear it, and so when you're there, you're speaking like bits and pieces of it. When you come back a week or two later, you forget. It's
amazing because actually, when I was in Maryland, I was a manager at a Mexican restaurant where all the cooks in the back couldn't speak any English, so I actually had to regularly use Spanish and speak Spanish. And then I moved here, Arizona of all places. I don't use Spanish, so I lost it all, I feel.
Yeah.
It's just interesting. Yeah, you just have to be immersed in it and just start using it, and you just kind of go with it.
This year's been interesting. I've been traveling a lot. I went to Mexico City in June, and then I went to Colombia in the beginning of September, and in October I was in Tokyo. So
busy man.
Yeah. Just traveling the world. Yeah.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite animal with a tail?
The what?
Favorite animal with a tail.
Oh.
We're tails of tailors. Sometimes we get a little punny with our questions. Okay. So what's your favorite animal with a tail?
I like dogs.
You like dogs?
Yeah. But I have 2 cats.
It's okay. We're still friends. You're allowed to say a dog. It's totally fine. So what kind of breed of dog?
It's like a Chihuahua mixed with Beagle.
That's kind of cute.
Yeah, his name is Max.
Nice.
Yeah, he's a cool dog. And but he's really chill. He's not those typical Chihuahuas when they he's really chill. So he actually was greeting people at the door for Halloween.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah.
Did you dress him up?
Yeah, he was like I gave him a poncho with a sombrero.
Perfect.
Yeah,
just play to it.
Kind of
play to the physical strengths there.
Yeah, kind of like the Taco Bell dog,
Classic, yeah.
Yeah.
Quiero Taco Bell.
Yeah. So they're like, oh my God, so cute. So he was like, he was trick or treat duty.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice. RJ Animation and the Phoenix Animation Expo. What are your ultimate...
2 different companies.
2 different companies, one amazing person behind them both, though. What are your goals, for both of these companies, within the next 5-10 years? Is it something that you are wanting to, I know your daughter is a creative. Are you having her come in and try to take on some things? Or, what are some of your goals for this?
Yeah, I really want to scale up RJ Animation to kind of continue giving opportunities to students once they graduate. I want to give them that foot in the door somewhere. So I want to continue doing clientele work, building my client base, and basically just kind of help them run it. Let them run it at one point. and I'm just like creative director in the back, just kind of looking. That would be great. And then in my educational side, scale that up to where we'll have not just 2 or 3 elementary schools, but we have different districts as well. You know what I mean? Excellent. So I think that's where I want to go with that. And it all ties in. All that would tie into the expo. With the animation meetups, we try to do them once a month. Bring a professional in, talk, network, and then build that excitement for the expo. And just really kind of, I really want to have the expo be a beacon every year for artists, or maybe a light for them to be like looking forward to maybe find a new job, or maybe an opportunity to work on a cool project, or maybe have a chance for them to showcase what they're working on. You know what I mean? Maybe a new project or a new passion project that they want to do, things like that. So I'm trying to build a better world.
Nice. A better, more creative, beautiful world. So how can people stay connected with you and all the great happenings that you're doing?
So we have a couple of socials. We have RJ Animation on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And then we also have the same thing, Phoenix Animation Expos. We're also on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Yeah. And our website too.
And the website.
Yeah, it's www.rganimation.com. And then we also have we didn't spell out the whole thing for Phoenix Animation Expo. It's PHX.
Okay.
Animation Expo, .com. And so the promo video is done. We have to upload it. I've been a little bit behind, but I'm going to share it with you.
Oh, yes, definitely. I look forward to seeing that. Excellent. Excellent.
And thank you so much for being a part of it.
Yeah, I love it. I also love giving back to, the youth and helping them set
but not
stuff
just
up.
this, but over the years, you've been very supportive with me.
Well, you have too.
And I just want to say thank you.
Yeah.
You've been very supportive, and whatever I could do to help you, I'm down.
Well, thank you. We appreciate it. And I wish I could, my hands aren't big enough, but there's a heart over the logo because, without, you, we wouldn't have this amazing, like 3D quality, 4K quality
the logo. I forgot.
This logo. And this was actually the second rendition logo.
Oh, yeah.
The first one we had, it said video in the middle. We had financial potion elsewhere. It was a different shade of blue. And then, 2020 happened and we kind of thought about, okay, what do we do? And then we decided to use some of that time to be like, okay, let's rebrand ourselves a little bit more. And so we made the blues richer. We adjusted to have the financial potion in the bottle. Cause I'm also really big at like having a logo be like a standalone. Like I always, like the Nike check, you don't always need to see Nike next to it.
Right.
You see the check. And so I really wanted to like have this, potion bottle of video marketing. And so thank you so much for that.
Yeah, the logo. Yeah, I love that.
Well, when you do so many projects, it's hard to keep track on ones. But
that's why every time I see the logo, it's like, oh, they got a pretty cool logo.
Right? I know. You're like, wow, that's a really nice looking logo.
Yeah, like,
whoever did that is
I did that.
talented. Yes, well, they are. They are talented. So thank you again and great work. And to close up this interview, I'd love to know if you were to write a book, what would be the title of your tale?
Wow, that's a good question. There and Back Again by Ricardo Jimenez. I took that from Lord of the Rings, by the way.
Oh, okay. There. Oh, right. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. But there you go. There and Back Again. And so the There and Back Again, what's the subtext?
Yeah.
What's the subtext?
I don't know. What do you think it would be?
Creatively navigating the world you love.
Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah.
I don't know. It's just coming out of nowhere. Maybe we can workshop it. So leave some comments.
Yeah.
What would be the title of this book?
Creating the Beautiful World.
Right, something like that.
Something like that. The adventures of Ricardo. I don't know.
The Adventures of Ricardo. No, that sounds like it's a little like comic book, character thing, which would actually probably make more sense to have a graphic novel.
Yeah. I sometimes I see myself. I live in a movie. You know what I mean? My own.
Oh, you have no idea how much I feel like the Truman Show, where I'm like, okay, I just got to like look behind something, or every time I see a mirror, I'm like, oh, that must just be a camera, right?
Yeah. And this year's been a blessing. So many things have just developed, And I look forward for next year, just, where we're going to go.
Yeah, let's look forward to everything. And, just I think some of the takeaways from this conversation is just to go for it and, work hard, practice your craft, because you definitely, with animation and, really with any profession, mastery takes time.
It does.
And you need to be able to take the time to practice and master your craft and be okay with making mistakes in the beginning and be okay with not being perfect. I don't think there is ever a true perfect, especially in a creative world.
Yeah, and one of the things I tell my students too is just like, it's once you start conquering your fears, you can start doing anything. Because the saying, you're the only person that holds yourself back. You're the worst enemy, right? So as soon as you start, I really think it's all in your mind. You know what I mean? Once you continue mastering your thoughts and what you want to manifest, it'll come true. But you're the only one that's giving yourself the limit, right?
Yeah.
So I've been trying to practice that and just trying to like overcome fears and just kind of just going for it and just manifesting what I want to do. And I think magic happens as soon as you reach that line of uncomfort zone.
Yeah, when you're starting to feel uncomfortable, that's a sign you're actually about to be
when you
growing.
feel uncomfortable, you're like, okay, I'm in the right place.
Yeah, and so instead of leaning into fear, it's leaning into excitement of, okay, what is this going to bring then? And I know Jamie Foxx has a saying that he's like, what's on the other side of the door of fear? Nothing. There's actually nothing. It's just that door of fear that you have to push through.
Yeah.
And then there's really nothing else there. You pass the fear.
Yeah.
So, let's be less fearful and have more fun and be more creative. Thank you so much, Ricardo, for coming by.
Thank you for inviting me.
Love having you here.
I love this, by the way. This is awesome.
Thank you. We'll come back anytime. Bring your friends. And
I will.
And I just appreciate everything you've done. We would not be successfully 10 years plus in business without your beautiful logo. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Hard time.
Thank you for watching Tales with Taylor. Please make sure you like and subscribe to the Financial Potion YouTube channel to never miss an episode.